Alright everybody, Dave here. We're still working on this hatchet, but I got my old Chicago rotary tool. You know, some people call them Dremels, which they are. Dremels, a different type of company here, same thing. But before I do any etching work on this hatchet that we've been working on, I got a piece of old junk metal here and kind of refine the steady hand before we make any marks on it. And another way of making sure that what you make, the marks on here, is to create like a little jig of some sort where you can do circles and straight lines, whatnot. But I'm going to do a little research. I know a lot of Viking axes, you'll see where it'll have a compass bearing on it, where you'll see them, you know, hold it up and say, north, okay. And they got these little websites on the internet that you can, what is my Viking name? And you answer a series of questions and stuff like that based on your personality and stuff, and they give you a name. And the one they keep coming up with me is Oaken Horse. I'm not sure I could spell all that, but I have to do a little research in the rune language. But we have a little fun, and it's quite warm out here, but it's not quite as bad as it has been. The smoke is gone from the west coast. Most of it headed into the Carolinas today, so I'm kind of glad for that. And I'll bring y'all back in just a few minutes when I finally figure out what it is I want to try to do today. Alright, you see here on this piece of metal here, I took a piece of old round trimmer line thing and, you know, created like a little circle, you know, that way it can make like a compass point and stuff like that. So we shall see. I think I'm going to do a little more practicing with this thing, because it's not exactly the same as having a pencil or a pen in your hand. It's got some heft to it. So we'll work on this a little bit. And I definitely want to keep this coating of paint on it while I'm doing the etching, because it might make it go a little bit easier and kind of, you know, make it more steady of a hand. And then once I finally get it all in, then we'll do like a sanding job, and it'll give that kind of a smudge look, or a feel, that textured look, as if it's got some age on it. And before I do anything as far as preservative on the handle, I want to finish up this head. So we'll see how this goes here in a little bit. Alright everybody, welcome back. Well, I've been working on some designs to put on the steel portion of the hatchet, and one that I think I'm going to put on one side is a Viking emblem called the Skuld's Net. And in Viking lore, it's supposed to mean that the past, the present, and the future are all tied up, and that decisions made in the past will affect that which happens today, and that which happens, you know, way out into the future. So that will be at least one thing that I'll put on there. And I'll take a little Sharpie or something and draw a miniature of that on one side and figure out where it is that's going to get hogged out, and then work on probably some type of a compass point on the other side there. And we will use the Chicago rotary tool and you know, work on it. And I got one of those little engraving points. Actually, I've made these from scratch by simply using a nail, and it works pretty good. So I'll bring it back in just a few. Kind of got it secured down a little bit here using a clamp, and got a ruler as a guide. So we'll see how this works out. you can see it. But yeah, it's gonna take some time, but I believe it'll come out pretty neat looking. And then once it gets sanded down, it'll get that kind of a well-weathered, kind of spread out kind of look. But had a lot of fun doing this, so I'm kind of biding my time until winter time comes back. Spring is about 50 some days away, and it's been a long hot summer, and it seems like the older I get, the worse I like this hot weather. And I'll show you here in a minute, but the smoke from the west coast has made a blowback in, so it's got that white milky look outside. It has dropped the temperature a little bit, but it's just it's got this unusual smell. Bring it back a little bit. All right, everybody, let's do a little bit more. Let's see how this works out. Alright, well, the shroud came off, so I guess we ought to fix that before we go any further. Like they say, the best videos are made when you show the bloopers along with the good stuff, so that was a blooper. The old shroud came off and went flying. So here we go again, we'll give it a little try. Alright, let's take a look here, and kind of the net feature starting to show up a little bit. It's going to take some time, but all in all, it's doing pretty good. Alright, this is looking out the shed, and you can see what appears like to be a bank of clouds, but the reality is that is the smoke from the fires out in the western part of the United States. It's kind of a, when you look along the tree lines and stuff, you can definitely see where the it's like somebody's grilling nearby, but nobody is. Very interesting that the smoke could hold together for 2,800 miles. I just can't imagine how horrible it is out there right next to it. Right here next to the Dakota fire holes, the triple fire holes, it got quite unbearable in that shed, so we decided to come out here and just chill out for a few minutes. I'm not sure what we'll do the rest of the day. We certainly got plenty to do, and we'll see how long the old bod can hold out in this this warmth, this heat. But it's not quite as bad as it has been. But when you get that the clouds that come in, and then they get that smoke and whatnot. But yeah, I'd like to invite everybody Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, East Coast USA, for our live feed. And we just hit 305, 306 subscribers, something like that. So thank you for all those that have come and did that. And I will certainly hit that new friend button as soon as I see yours pop up and everything. Okay, well, I'll bring you all back a little later, and take care. Alright, I broke out the 3W titanium stove from Wild Wild West, which I bought from Lux Tents. I got some firewood. I'm hoping to, give this thing a little taste of some fire here. If not today, probably tomorrow. So it'll, doesn't rust out and all that kind of stuff. I cleaned it really good, and I'm really hoping to break out the tent here very shortly because we've got like 50 some days left till fall.
We've kind of did a rough end to a
goes
part
without
of the
saying that I'm chomping
design there on the
get the winter camping gear out
and
everything.
That's still got a long ways to go.
I really would like to
get
at least get the stove set up,
tell any good look until we get
the chimney one
buffed out
and just lean it up against one of the ladders.
But
one of the
it is,
sawhorses here.
Let me see here, 94 degrees inside this shed, and I have had about all I can take for today. So I'll see y'all later.
This is an acquired skill. This is something you just don't, I'm going to cook on one of these titanium stoves and instantly it works. It takes some trial and error. I put foil, potatoes in tin foil like you would do any baked potato, like in the grill. Put it right in with the firewood. About 35, 45 minutes later, you usually have a pretty good potato. But the rest of it takes a good bit of practice, so stay tuned. Alright, this is the adapter that connects the stove with the chimney. And you'll see the damper card here. And this is the spark arrestor card, and they fit in here just like this. And it goes in here just like this. These little knobs keep it like that. And then the type of lightweight titanium chimney you have, it fits over top here. It's got these little rings and whatnot. But I can tell you one thing, only use wood up in here. Don't use those, or kind of what they call those things, those prefab logs, because it will clog up your spark arrestor and it'll mess up your glass here. Here's your sliding damper here. But if you put that prefab like junk in there, it'll gunk your stove up and you'll end up having to clean it. You got to be very careful with these type of things. You don't want to break them. Alright, there's the chimney. And you'll see these little metal discs, these little rings here. They fit over top of, just like this, and it has to go on to the outside of this collar, otherwise it will not seal up correctly. But it provides good heat. I'll tell you what, I've been outside where it's be, really, really, really cold. It'll be a toasty 70, 80 degrees up in your tent. So it's a lot of fun. But it's something you really do need to practice if you want to get into this cold weather camping. I know here it is 90 degrees and I'm talking about cold weather camping. That's my true love, so. Alright, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me, and I think I'm going to slowly pack all my stuff up and head on in the house here shortly. Alright, you see the Duraflame log there, or man-made Duraflame logs. Whatever you do, don't put those in these titanium stoves, because it will gunk the works up big time, and you're wondering why your flyer keeps dying out, because the spark arrestor's gotten all plugged up and you can't see in the glass door anymore, the glass sides or anything else. And a lot of your light that comes when you're doing these cold weather tents comes from that glass, and it's just the ambiance, you want to be able to see the fire, and you'll know when you need to add wood and everything.
But like I said, when cooking with one of these things, it's something you probably want to, you know, practice up if you want to get into this type of a camping sport. All right, everybody. I appreciate y'all hanging around with me, and thanks to all those that have come on and subscribed. We're up to 305, 306 now. I'll see y'all on the live feed. Y'all take care and be safe, everybody. All right, everybody. I am heading in. We've kind of did a rough in to a part of the design there on the Hatchet metal head there. That's still got a long ways to go, but because it'll kind of won't be able to really tell any good look until we get it really buffed out and stuff. But it is, let me see here, 94 degrees inside this shed, and I have had about all I can take for today. So I'll see y'all a little later. Dave out.